Before we start, let us first briefly introduce the French language. The colored places on the map are where French is used. In particular, the dark blue represents regions where French is the native language of most people, which are France and the Canadian province, Quebec. In normal blue are the places where French is the administrative language. And in light blue, the places where French is the secondary language. Finally, the green dots are where the French is a minority language. The following is its language family. The topic we discuss here is the final consonant drop in the French language. In the phonetic column are a sound transcription of a few French phrases. In the gloss column are the corresponding English meaning.
Petit tableau, nos tableaux. Petit livre, nos livres. Petit navet, nos navets. Petit ami, nos amis. Petit oiseau, nos oiseaux.
Question A asks you to write the two forms of the words small and our. Question B asks you to find the phonetic environments that determine the occurrence of each form. Question C asks you to express the environments from question B by referring to word boundaries, and also using exactly one phonetic feature which refers to a certain natural class. Here is a hint for you. A more detailed phonetic transcription will show the word boundaries using hash symbol. Here, for example, non and livre are different words, so before and after each word there is a hash symbol showing the boundary. Question D asks you to write the basic or phonemic form of these two words. So it is basically asking you what the default is. Question E asks you to state, in words, a rule for deriving the non-basic representations from the basic representations. Finally, question F is a challenge exercise. It wants you to rewrite the rule from question E formally using notations. Use a circle with a slash through it to represent non, and use the hash symbol to represent word boundaries. To begin, we try and find different forms of the same meaning. To answer question A, we will focus on the words small and our. We mark the words that mean small in purple and the words that mean our in blue. After some sorting, we find the word small has two forms, petit and petite. And the word our also has two forms, no and nose. In the second step, we find the sound environments for each form. Here we have separated the words into two groups. In the left column are the words containing petit and non, and in the right column are the words containing petite and nose. The two groups are marked in red and blue respectively. To help us make observations from the environments, the first sounds of each following word is also colored. After taking a look, we see that petit and non occur before words that begin with t, o, and Meanwhile, we see that petite and nose occur before words that begin with w and a. In step 3, we will now try to use our observations from the last step to see if we can generalize a rule. As we just mentioned, the first environment is where the second word begins with the sound t, and And the second environment is where the second word begins with the sound w and a. If we try to classify these environments using consonants and vowels, we will get the following conclusion. The sounds that occur in the first environment are all consonants, whereas the sounds that occur in the second environment can be consonants or vowels. According to this conclusion, consonants could potentially appear in both sound environments. This means simply using consonants and vowels to classify environments is not very useful to us. Therefore, next, we will try to use phonetic features to help us with classification instead. In this table, the first column contains the 5 sounds, and the 2 groups are separated by the line in bold. Meanwhile, the first rule are some of the important phonetic features. Based on this table, we see that the first 3 sounds, t, a, and are consonantal, while the other 2, w and a, are not. This means that of the phonetic features presented here, the consonantal property is a distinctive feature which we can use to differentiate the 2 groups of sounds. In step 4, we will determine which form is the default for each of the 2 words. That is to say, is the default form for the word small, petit, or petite, and is the default form for the word our, no, or nose. Let us first assume that petit and no are the default forms, and we use phrase 7 and phrase 8 as examples. So again, we assume that the default forms are petit and no, and that the word which follows right afterwards starts with the sound a. Then after applying some sort of general rule, the sound t is inserted after petit, making it petite, and the sound z is inserted after no, making it nose. However, with this method, we are unable to predict when to insert t and when to insert z at the end of those default forms. This is because in this example, the 2 words have the same sound environment, but one form aids the sound t, while the other aids the sound z. So there is no clear rule. Following a similar idea, we now assume that petite and nose are the default forms, and we use phrase 1 and phrase 2 as examples. So again, we assume that the default forms are petite and nose, and that the word which follows right afterwards starts with the sound t. Then after applying some sort of general rule, the final consonant t is dropped from petite, making it petit, and the final consonant z is dropped from nose, making it no. This time, the 2 words have the same sound environment, and they follow same rule, which is to delete the final consonant. This means this rule can actually be used to predict phonetic changes. The conclusion we have reached here is that the default form must be the form that ends in consonants. The reason is that we can find a general rule that changes the default form into another form simply by deleting the final consonant of the word. On the other hand, if we made the other form the default, then we cannot make a generalization that inserts a t sound in one case and a z sound in another. In step 5, we now state a rule in words that derives the non-basic forms from the basic ones. According to our findings from step 3, the base forms petite and nose must be followed by non-consonantal sounds such as a and w, while the non-basic forms petit and non must be followed by consonantal sounds such as the obstruent t, the nasal and the liquid a. And if the base forms are followed by consonantal sounds, then the final consonant must be deleted. This derives the non-basic forms which cannot be combined with consonantal sounds. In the final step, we rewrite the rule from the last step, but this time using notations. Here we see the colors in the notation matches their corresponding words in the description just above. First, to show that the final consonant is deleted, we write like this. This symbol is the same symbol you may have seen in mathematics, which is used to indicate an empty subset. It is read as non, which means nothing. Next, to show the condition when the word occurs before another word starting with a consonantal sound, we write like this. We notice there are two hash symbols here. The hash symbol indicates word boundaries. Therefore, the first hash symbol is used to represent the boundary at the end of the first word, while the second hash symbol is used to represent the boundary at the beginning of the following word. Lastly, once we combine the two notations we described above, the final result looks like this. The following are answers from the publisher which can be used as a reference.